Welcome back. Given an array of strings, find the longest common prefix shared among all the strings. A prefix is the starting portion of a word, okay? So if there is no common prefix, we return an empty string, and we need to put two constraints in our head. Strings are lowercase English letters. The input size ranges from 1 to 200 strings, and each string is up to 200 characters. And in order to understand the problem, let's just take these two examples. So we have here the first example. The common prefix is FL. As the explanation is the first two letters, which is FL, are common to all the three strings. So can you see here, flower, flow, flight? FL is common at all, in all of them. On the other hand, we have here dog, race car, and car. I guess there is no common prefix. There is no starting common prefix at all among the three strings. Okay, so how we can do this in code? Let us think a little bit about this one. So we solve this problem by iteratively comparing the current prefix with each string in the array. The prefix is shortened whenever a string doesn't match whenever a string doesn't match it completely. Here is how. We can start a prefix. We start by the first start with the first string, and we assume the first string it will be our prefix. After that, we need to iterate through the array to compare it with the other characters. Okay, and if the string does not start with the prefix, we remove the last character from the prefix, and we continue this process until we end with something, and we end or we end with nothing. The return results will be after processing all strings. The remaining prefix will be the longest common prefix. Okay, so let's try to do this in code. I guess it would be better to do it directly in code. So first I'll put some base cases. So if the strings dot length equals 0, we return empty string. Okay, so first I will this is an edge case because for an empty array. We need to start with the first string as a prefix, as we said before. So let prefix will equals strings of 0. Okay, I will make for loop here. For let I equals 1. We're starting from the second one because we already have the first. I less than strings dot length and I plus plus. Okay, I plus plus. Okay, this is great. We need to create while loop, and we will understand why we create while loop. This while loop basically we will shorten the prefix if it's not a prefix of strings of I. So I will say while strings of I dot index of index of the prefix this doesn't equal 0. If that wasn't the case, that means if the strings doesn't start with the prefix, this is what means. If the index of it doesn't equal 0, that means if it doesn't start with it, that means we'll try to shorten the prefix by removing the last character. So the prefix will equals prefix dot substring 0 with prefix dot length -1. So by this we removing the the last element. And if the prefix is empty, that means there is no common prefix. So it's quite important to make this. If prefix equals an empty array, we return an empty array. Okay. And we need to return a prefix here. Let me run and see. It doesn't work. If return. I plus plus. Sorry. Okay, submit. Okay, it's looking good. It's looking good. It's looking good. Okay, okay, okay. Okay, so let's try to make an example. So let's just take this example here. So we understand the problem better. So we have example one, we have flower, flow, flight. We need to compare with flow, for example. So we start with the prefix will equals to flower. So we have here prefix equals flower. And we compare it with flow. So we will say is flower if the index of okay, sorry, we compare it with flow. Like flow does it not start with flower? The first index right now we're starting in the second. So flow doesn't start with flower. So we take one from prefix because we do like that, and we continue our while loop. So we have flow this e. This doesn't start with flow as well. So we take another one here. So we have flow and flow. They're starting with each other. So yeah, it's great. So the while loop ends. We start in the next one. We have flight. So flight doesn't start with flow. So we take the last element. Again, flight starts when FLO doesn't start. So we take the last one. So flight starts with FL, and we ended our loop. So we return prefix. And I suggest you to do the same exact thing with dog, with this example. Example number 2. I suggest you to do it. The term complexity of O is O of n, whereas n is a total number of character across all strings. For each string, we compare the prefix, which takes all length of the prefix. The space complexity of O of 1, because we only use constant amount of extra space. So yeah, that's it for this problem, and I hope you like my solving and my description. If you find my description is helpful, please make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you'll never miss any video, and see you in future problems.